Welcome to another episode of the Boxing Lockdown powered by SA Boxing Talk. Welcome to the two gentlemen, Hayden and Cyril. Good to see you. COVID-19 level 4, or is it 3.85 at the moment? Today and tonight, rather, we're going to be doing something a little different. Hayden is going to be talking about various things that are on boxing platforms, articles related to boxing naturally, and he's going to be asking us our opinions on them and giving his as well. So, Cyril, good evening. How are you doing? Hayden, good evening. How are you doing? Hayden, shoot up the first piece that comes up.
Okay, so the first part that I saw that came up on the internet was Ryan Garcia. Obviously, he's really popular. He's sort of the next Oscar De La Hoya. He's basically said to Floyd. He's basically said that Floyd reacted to to a comment that he made. Floyd Mayweather hurt after I said Manny Pacquiao has a better legacy. Now, I don't know who's going to start this one, but what do you guys think about it?
Okay, so firstly, let me say I've been following a lot of Ryan's stuff. I think he's a marketing dream. I think he's a promoter's dream. I see lots of Oscar De La Hoya when Oscar was coming up after the Barcelona Olympics, the way he's been brought along, the way he's been matched. He really has got that X factor and that marketing appeal. But right now, from what I've seen on social media, he's acting like a spoiled brat. Cyril, your opinion on Ryan Garcia?
I agree.
Not only a spoiled brat, but highly immature as well. Sorry.
I think he was good at first. The way he was when he was posting training videos and saying the right things on social media a few months ago. I think he had a lot of women that were commenting on everything he said, and that was great. I mean, for the appeal. But now he's going on. When you start talking about Mayweather Pacquiao, who has the best legacy, you're putting yourself in a position where people are going to start judging your career. And at the moment, he hasn't done enough in his career to actually for him to want people to judge him on his career. So it's going a bit too far now.
That's true. But also he's entitled to his opinion. And let me ask you this, Hayden: the fact that he's entitled to his opinion and he's becoming quite opinionated, you can see that on Twitter and so forth. Do you think he's becoming opinionated because he wants to get these reactions? And the other thing is there slight immaturity and childishness to him sending out these tweets?
It could be. It could be youthful exuberance, one, and it could be insecurity. I do think insecure in the fact that he doesn't quite know how good he is yet, and he's just trying to level it out. He's got a lot of followers very early in his career. Obviously, he has noted that he has got a huge Instagram following, much bigger than any other lightweights in the world. And of course, he's going to be a bit mischievous. He's going to, he's young, he's good looking. He wants to prove his bravado. And if he doesn't start calling out these guys and goes a bit quiet, people might forget about him. And I think, honestly, that's where he's coming from. He wants to be Golden Boy's Golden Boy.
And let me ask you, on a side note, do you follow him on Instagram, Hayden?
Well, SA Boxing Talk follows a lot of boxers, so
No, I'm asking. Okay, well, we all know who SA Boxing Talk, but do you follow him? Yes or no?
Privately, no, I don't follow him.
Okay, privately. Cyril, do you follow him?
I follow him on Twitter, not Instagram.
Okay, cool. I don't follow him on any platforms, but I do admire his speed. I think he's a tremendous fighter and a tremendous prospect. And like I'm saying, he's got that X factor. I just think that someone needs to rein him in. I don't know if it's his mother or someone needs to say, hey, slow down on the Twitter, slow down on the social media stuff, because it is putting him in a bad light. Would you agree that it is putting him in a bad light, Hayden?
It depends. It depends because, as we said before, it is the social media day and age. I don't know if it puts him in a bad light. I know he is talking about legends, and people don't really take well to that. But there's so much shit that people get away with nowadays. So it's he's not really pushing those borders, to get in trouble. I think he's just being arrogant.
Okay. Cyril, is he irritating you?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm not irritated yet. I'm still following. But I think, he is putting himself in a position where people are going to get vicious. You know how people are with comments, the trolls. They're going to get after him. It's only a matter of time, and I don't know. Can he take that? Time will tell.
He's pushing the buttons of Abner Mares. He's pushing the buttons of Jorge Linares. These are really established, great fighters. Devin Haney would be a massive fight as well. And then you start commenting about Pacquiao and Mayweather, and it's, really got nothing to do with you in your career. What's the next article, Hayden Jones?
Next up is, what is your guys' opinion on Deontay Wilder? Should he take the step aside fee? We obviously know with COVID-19, the borders are currently on lockdown. There's a potential super fight looming between the two other heavyweights, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Should Deontay Wilder accept step aside money?
Okay. The step aside fee, the stories that I'm reading is that it's $10 million. Now, $1 million is life-changing money. $10 million with a guarantee to fight the winner. Yeah, I would definitely take it. Cyril, your thoughts on that?
I think it makes sense to take that. For speaking for us as fans, I think we also the Wilder Fury fight. Nobody thinks. Very few people would think Wilder can beat Fury anyway. So we'd rather see Joshua against Fury right now. I think that's the fight that makes the most sense. That would be the biggest fight in the world right now. So let Wilder take the step aside fee, maybe fight somebody else in the meantime, and then take on the winner.
Hey, what would you think? What's your opinion on that?
I want to see the fight. To be honest, I think there's a lot of questions that needs to be asked. Is Anthony Joshua potentially Tyson Fury's proper nemesis? Considering the size of Anthony Joshua, he's much bigger than Deontay Wilder is. Physically, he's about 20 kilograms heavier. Will Tyson Fury be able to throw his weight around? Will he be able to just do what he does to all the other opponents? There's questions out there, and I think that the fight needs to happen because someone's got to have all the belts at one stage, like Vladimir Klitschko used to have. Mind you, he didn't have the WBC, but he was the unified champion, and I think Britain would love this fight. I would love to see this fight. I know you would as well.
Well, I mean, we all agreed that, I don't know if you agreed. Did you agree? I think Fury beats him. Cyril, I know you did. Hayden, what did you think?
Yeah, I do think as of right now that is the case. Although my head and my heart is in two different places. I think a lot of people know I'm Anthony Joshua supporter, so there it is.
Yeah, but also COVID-19 is affecting you as well. You've just admitted that. So, moving along to the third article, what's cooking in your box?
All right, I know we're not supposed to be mentioning Mayweather's on the show too often, but this is a quote of Mayweather. Mayweather said on people wanting to fight Manny Pacquiao, and he said, people should stop chasing this old man. Let the old man decide on who he wants to fight. A lot of boxers call out Manny Pacquiao. He's 41 years old now. It's time that Manny Pacquiao gets to choose the guy that he wants to fight instead of everyone trying to rush that decision. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Exactly how Floyd ran his career, choosing his opponents. Floyd was great, and I think he's got some merit in what he's saying. He's obviously been in that position, after he left Top Rank. He bought himself out, and he picked and chose his guys when he wanted to. I'll never forget that poll. In fact, I think Mayweather was in South Africa, and he said he was going to do a poll, or was on social media, and he said whoever the fans decide was between Maidana and Khan. And Khan actually won the poll with the fans, and then he opted to fight Maidana. So that gives you, an indication of picking and choosing. So your thoughts on Floyd Mayweather, who I do think is a great fighter and an all-time great, but not the greatest fighter of all time. So your opinion on Mayweather's comment?
Well, Pacquiao's he's earned the right to sort of pick and choose, but you don't want the guy picking and choosing too much, But at the same time, you can understand why these fighters are all calling Pacquiao out. He's a future Hall of Famer. Everybody wants a legend in their resume. So you can understand, but at the same time, I get Mayweather's point. I would rather see the young guys fighting against each other than them constantly calling out Pacquiao. Personally, I think I would be more comfortable with Pacquiao retired, actually.
You don't think Floyd's, saying these things because he might want that second fight with Pacquiao, Hayden?
Yeah, there definitely could be an underlying reason for that. There's a lot of money in that fight still. I mean, I think Pacquiao's the only fight that actually makes sense for Floyd Mayweather. I think it's that, and it's respect for Manny Pacquiao. I think that Floyd's always had the respect. I think even during the career, although they use each other's names to sort of become as big as they were, as well as their boxing ability, I do think that that's Floyd's only option if he really wants to make serious money.
And we discussed it on the last show, can we believe his word when he says he's not coming back? I'm not so sure I can believe that. What is the fifth article that you want to discuss tonight?
All right. So apparently, Mikey Garcia's opinion on this fight, and this is a good fight. It's Leo Santa Cruz against Gervonta Tank Davis. Mikey Garcia is picking Leo Santa Cruz to win this fight, surprisingly or not surprisingly. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's a great fight. You got a guy who's if you analyze the styles, Santa Cruz is really good down the middle, like long range type of fighter, and Gervonta has obviously got that kind of flow to him. So I think it's a brilliant clash of styles. I do not think this is an easy fight for either guy. I think Santa Cruz is battle hardened. He's had a loss. He's come back and he's won championships. I still think there are questions on Davis, even though he can really punch and he's legitimately world class and obviously a world champion. He struggled with a guy like Gamboa when Gamboa did his ankle in the second round of the knockdown. Was it the second round? Yeah, it was the second round. Was it the first round? I can't remember. What was it? One of the rounds. First or second round. Second round he dropped him, didn't he? And he just battled for 10 rounds. And I was thinking, well, if a guy's injured, why was he in there for so long? So I think there's still question marks on Gervonta. That would be my opinion. And what would your opinion be, Cyril?
Well, Gervonta hasn't been properly tested. I mean, he's been. We know how we've seen the talent, we've seen the quality, but he's never faced anyone worth noting. I think Gamboa was the guy who's clearly passed it. So it's an interesting fight. I definitely think it's a close fight. It's a lot closer than people might think it is. I agree with that. But just another curveball to hold this whole thing. Mikey Garcia's commenting on it. I think if Mikey Garcia can still make 135, why not fight at 135? I think it beats everybody at 135.
I'm not sure he can make 135. That's the feeling that I'm getting. I'm not totally sure on that. I don't know. I think it would be a big stretch for him.
Because 147 seems to be. He doesn't seem to be.
Excuse me, guys. I stand to be corrected. He actually stopped him in the 12th round, not the 10th round. And I mean, he was well up on the scores, but I mean, I was expecting Davis to blow Gamboa out, considering Gamboa's had issues with his chin, and he's been suspect for many years being put over and so forth. So to me, that wasn't even though he won, it wasn't an impressive win. Hey, Hayden, your comments on that?
Yeah, look, I don't think that Santa Cruz is the guy that's going to beat Gervonta Davis for me. I think that it'll be a hard fight because we know that Mexican style is always going to be a difficult style for everyone. The relentless pressure. You're never just going to put a guy away, especially someone with the heart of Leo Santa Cruz. I think a different weight for him though. I mean, this is him stepping up in weight, so sort of a new challenge. Gervonta Davis obviously always struggling to make weight, so that could be another element as to why this fight's taking place. But yeah.
Okay, so hold on. So let's put this. Let me ask you this. The fact that he went 12 rounds with Gamboa, what were you expecting in that fight? Because I was expecting an early knockout for Davis, considering Gamboa might be over the hill or is over the hill.
Yeah, that was the expectation of mine as well, particularly because Gervonta Davis is such a lethal puncher, and we know that it's not just for the show. He really does hit hard. We saw that against Pedraza. I mean, that was a hell of a takeout. And you expected the same thing of Gamboa just because of the way Gamboa's career has been going on a downward trajectory.
So, were you also disappointed with that kind of result and performance?
Yeah, I was disappointed. I definitely expected him to. I thought it would be done within the first 4 rounds, but that wasn't the case. Also, Santa Cruz against Gervonta, that's going to be at junior lightweight.
So that's 130 pounds. So 130. I'm not wondering if it's a 130 pounds. Santa Cruz has got a great chance, guys.
Davis
got I think it's at 130 pounds. And
great chance. I don't think Davis can hold on. That was a lightweight, 135. So Hayden, you know what? Like
mean-
he's been struggling with the scales. I would if he can make 130, you got to give Santa Cruz a really good shot at that fight.
Yeah, that definitely takes his chances up for sure. Because it's like Davis, he wasn't his plan is to move up to lightweights because he wants to fight like Lomachenko. Well, does he want to fight him? We don't actually know. But the plan is obviously to mix it with those boys.
He's been fighting in lightweight, but you see, if you watch in the Gamboa fight, he had to step on the scales twice. I mean, he came in at 136, and then he had to run off a few, like a pound, just to make it. So he struggles with weight. So if it's at 130, Santa Cruz can really.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would have an excellent chance. Hayden, what is it the fifth? Are we on fifth or the sixth? Fifth?
Oh, I don't know. It's flowing though. It's flowing. Okay, guys, what do you think of Andy Ruiz actually joining Reynoso? Do you think it's for his benefit?
Yeah, so to me that's newsworthy. I think it's a good move. I think Reynoso has obviously established himself as one of the leading trainers in the world. I think, change of environment, change of scenery. Here's the thing I've noticed about fighters and trainers in America is that there doesn't seem to be a very strong bond. There are exceptions, and there have been exceptions, and there always will be exceptions. But I don't know the thought process behind all of these changes. I think it's a good move for Andy Ruiz, and I think it's probably a needed move. But again, in his last fights, he was with Manuel Robles when he lost. When he won the championship, he was with Manuel Robles. Was Robles the problem, or was he the problem? Cyril, your opinion on that?
I think that's a good question because I think Ruiz was the problem. I mean, he clearly didn't train hard enough for the second fight. He was eating, he was partying, he was doing all kinds of things that he shouldn't have been doing. So I think it's going to come down to Andy Ruiz himself. He can be trained by anybody, but it doesn't. But if he's not willing to sort himself out discipline-wise and attitude-wise, then it doesn't matter who trains him. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's my next question to you, Hayden. Do you think it should be a change of attitude as opposed to changing a trainer?
Yeah, definitely a change of. You see, that's the thing with these fights. I mean, it's all about celebrity status now, isn't it? Because like Andrew Ruiz has left a trainer that he's trained with. He beat Anthony Joshua with the guy. Then he's gone and lost him. And obviously maybe they had a bit of a fight. And now he's gone to join Reynoso. Why would you join Reynoso? Think about all the connections and all the things. It's just about looking good, isn't it? From there, I think that Andrew Ruiz Jr. has fallen out of the whole conversation of heavyweights that we're talking about, matching up against each other. No one's has a dream matchup with Andy Ruiz Jr. anymore. Let's be honest.
I want to, and it's still on still doing its rounds on social media where the post-fight press conference when Andy Ruiz said their message to his mother, he said, "Mom, we're not going to struggle anymore. Our lives have changed." And that moment for me was just so special. And their lives have changed. Does he still have that hunger and desire to actually get his ass out of bed and run a few miles just to get in shape? Because he was training and obviously lifting, but lifting the fork to get into a position where he came in not in shape and definitely a lot bigger than he was when he won the championship. So, you're right. Is he a celebrity or is he a fighter? So I guess we're only going to know when he gets back in the ring, but I am not convinced. Even though it might be a good move, maybe let me just retract what I said. I don't know if it's a good move to change the trainer. I think maybe you should just go to a psychologist. Hayden.
Yeah, fair shots. I mean, obviously a lot of mental training, especially with the sports psychology, nowadays. I don't think he should have left his coach. I don't see it wasn't broken. His method wasn't broken. He's always fought like he's fought. It's just that he took his foot off the pedal for this fight against Anthony Joshua. Not to say that Joshua didn't up his game, because I think Joshua did up his game, but not to the point where Andy Ruiz could completely fall off like that.
No, agreed. I agree with you. Cyril, good move or bad move? Or are you indifferent?
I think I'm indifferent. I think time will tell. it comes down to Andy Ruiz. Can he get himself sorted out? Can he bring back that hunger to want to be champion again? I think time will tell. What I'd like to say about Andy Ruiz is that I'd love to see him in the ring against Dillian White. That's the fight I want to see.
Yeah, I think we might have discussed that in one of the shows a few weeks ago as well. Hayden, what's left in the box for your questions for tonight or your articles?
Well, let's do two more. Let's do two more. So I'll do this one first, and this is a nice one for Mike Altamura to actually go and attend. Is Joseph Parker against Lucas Brown? It's in the works for August. What are your thoughts?
I think there's only one winner, and you know who that is. Cyril, who's your opinion on that and why?
I lean towards Parker. He's been near the top. He's been against some tough opponents, and I see him bouncing back. I think he still has something left in him. I just don't know if he can still take on the best guys now, like Fury and Joshua. But he can.
But you are saying that he does beat Lucas Brown.
Yeah, he beats Lucas Brown.
Yeah, Hayden, you?
Yeah, Joseph Parker for sure. Yeah. But you know what I really like about Joseph Parker lately? He hasn't stayed irrelevant. Have you seen the guy's Instagram videos and so forth?
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. With the music video, it was hilarious.
He's up to date.
And you know, that also shows that the guy's got a good sense of humor as well. So yeah, and that's what you call staying relevant in a good, tasty manner, not like Ryan Garcia. Hayden, what's your last question or last article for tonight's show?
Last talking point, and this is one that I've been thinking about for a while. Bob Arum, he's going to put on a whole bunch of shows really, really soon in like a short space of time. What are your thoughts on him putting this many bills together so quickly, behind closed doors, obviously? Benefits, good thing for boxing. What do you think?
So firstly, I think because of travel restrictions from various countries, I think the local fighter where he's going to be doing shows, or rather within America, provides those fighters with a fair amount of action. So I'm all for that, and I'm all for the fighters. And if, you know, the government and the health department of whichever state he's going to be doing these shows and gives the green light, I'm all for it. And I think it's a great way to grow local within American boxing and give these fighters the platform and opportunity to feed their families, build their careers, and obviously build their records in order for them to become champions. So the Bob father, big respect for him. I think it's great for boxing. And if this is the way it has to be done for now, provided all the health checks are in place and all the systems go, I'm all for it. Cyril, your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Gives guys the chance to get back in the ring after this lockdown. It sort of sets a reset button. It's almost like a reset button in boxing where guys, I don't know, like guys, younger guys, up and coming guys have a chance to build themselves, because everybody now, every single fan, all fans around the world have been impatiently waiting for boxing. We haven't seen boxing in a long time, so we'll watch anything. So if there are any decent 4-round, 6-round fighters, we are going to spot that talent very quickly, and that's a chance to build those youngsters. You know what I mean? To be becoming superstars of tomorrow. So yeah, I like that.
And I mean, you got a favor for what vision he has for doing these shows.
Yeah, and obviously, I think the blueprint was done by the UFC. Not to do a crossover real quickly, but I think Dana White did an exceptional job. They did actually have a person contracted coronavirus, but they still had the operations in place to deal with it. And I think that Bob Arum is smart enough. He's got a nice young staff with him. They got a whole thing that they got going over there, Top Rank. I think they get this thing together and they put it on. They do it in a safe way, and they can put on great fights. As Cyril was saying, you know, get some of these younger fighters. Actually, this could be the best time for them. You got fighters that were concussed coming off their last fight. They're going to be rushed into fights too soon, have had a chance to clear their head, recover. They've had no sparring.
Including Deontay Wilder, right, with the heavy suit and the pounding he took. And I think we could be seeing that kind of stuff here in South Africa as well. And I'm almost sure. I think that's the way it's going to be done. And provided all the safety measures are in place, like you said, I think we could be seeing that here in South Africa as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important as well for the, you know, and just to say this from a media point of view, that like what the UFC did, they had their media there. They separated them quite a bit. Still get the media to come out, because at the end of the day, you still need to publicize your sports. So still have room for them. Obviously you can't have spectators, but you can have people around the operation. So I would advise that. And also South Africa, you got to remember, on the GDP, is the 31st richest country in the world. We can afford to pour a little bit of money into boxing from the government.
Yeah, so basically saying you need your seat in at these shows. I'm sure that'll be accommodated, Mr. Jones. Cyril, your last parting shot for the show tonight.
Well, first of all, I want to say,
quick question: has COVID-19 affected you?
Yeah, I think it's affected me. I think I'm feeling it. But first of all, I want to say, smart move by Hayden talking about accreditation. He wants to make sure he gets his tickets. Smart one. But everybody stay positive, and let's just keep going. This lockdown will end eventually one day.
We'll stay positive. Just don't get positive from COVID-19. Hayden, your last parting shot, brother.
Yeah, my last parting shot is for everyone at home. If you're not feeling the best and haven't had the best days every single day and are watching the show till the end, we really do appreciate all the support. It also helps us also carry our messages, and we really do appreciate that. So thank you very much for always logging in and sort of supporting our show, and obviously having your part in the comment sections. We highly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you can keep those comments coming, even if they're negative. We will laugh and smile at you, and thank you very much for taking the time. From all of us here on the Boxing Lockdown, powered by SA Boxing Talk, we will see you again soon.